All right. Are you settled in then? Got yourself some popcorn, a beverage or two, and you're kind of semi-horizontal. Best way to watch these things, I find. We've got our first reveal of the show. And what I want you to do is just kind of take a breath, just for a minute. I want you to prepare yourself for something magical that's been lovingly crafted by some of the developers who brought us Fable. Wyatt.
Behind every brilliant invention, there hides a brilliant inventor. Behind every brilliant inventor, there hides a brilliant team. But when the love for life and the love for invention are threatened by life itself, what do brilliant minds do then?
That was your brand new look at Tin Hearts, and I'm very, very pleased to be joined by Kostas of Rogue Sun, who's going to talk a little bit more about the game. I know you're going to be keen. Hey Kostas, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Julia?
Yeah, I'm really, really good. I'm so excited to talk about the game. I'm not going to lie. I suppose we should calm down, first of all, Julia. Let's talk about the trailer. So we've just seen it. Tell us in your own words, though, what is Tin Hearts all about?
Sure. Tin Hearts is a rather genre-defying game, so we're very excited for everyone to come up with their own interpretation of what it is. For us at Rogue Sun, when we describe Tin Hearts, we like to say it's a mix between Lemmings and Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Just like A Christmas Carol, it has a pretty deep and engaging story, and yeah, just like Lemmings, I guess there's a lot of guide the little toy soldiers from point A to point B.
I mean, if anyone's lived in a country where there's ants, I feel like this gameplay is going to be fully naturalistic.
Yeah,
right?
Just don't step on them, though.
One of the things, though, I find quite interesting about this, though, is, you're kind of coming out on like a variety of different platforms, but also VR. So how do you go about, creating a game that works to the best of each of those platforms? That must be quite a tricky thing to pull off.
Yeah, I won't lie. It is a tricky.
You're like, oh my God, so difficult.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for people who have been following the project for quite some time, the VR aspect of it is actually where the project started. So, we wanted to do something with a really kind of tiny sense of scale. When we were prototyping and experimenting, we discovered that there's something really magical about kind of, looking at things with a small sense of scale around you in VR. And we wanted to leverage that as much as possible. But, our DNA is very much, from kind of the Lionhead days, there's a lot of kind of storytelling in our DNA. And, as those kind of aspects started creeping in, we wanted to tell, we want to have really meaningful and fun gameplay, but also tell this story. And we didn't want, the platform or the input method to be an obstacle to that. We want as many people as possible to experience that. So then as we started kind of experimenting with other platforms, it's been a tough challenge, but what we like to say is that we take the responsibility of solving that problem for you, and then whichever platform you play the game on, for us it needs to be the best version of the game, which is it is quite tough, but I think we're going about it the right way so far. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It's actually quite refreshing to have someone say it's really quite difficult for a change, because most of the time I was like, yeah, it's fine, but actually, it's kind of nice. You sort of realize the gravity of the situation. a little bit. So obviously, you know, the game itself is, you know, a puzzle game, you know, by design, as well as having kind of this, you know, huge kind of elaborate story in it. How do you go about the process of making puzzles for the game? And also, you know, what's the kind of thing that people are going to find a little bit different about that in Tin Hearts?
So there's a lot of passion about puzzle games in the studio. Actually, one of the designers on the project, his previous game was The Room by Fireproof Studios, just down the road from here. Yeah, which it sounds like you love and I do as well. So yeah,
so good.
I like to sort of point out some of the old kind of LucasArts games.
I was literally going to say exactly the same thing. I was like, why does that chicken go on a pulley?
Right,
like,
with the rubber ducky. And,
it makes no sense.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
God,
So we try to stay away from that sort of territory, and you know, I like to call it sort of fair kind of puzzle design, so that you know you have that bit of challenge, but then when you have that aha moment, it's very rewarding and satisfying. And yeah, and for me as well, I like to say we don't want to leave anyone behind. We want everyone to get to the end of that story, because it's you know, it's quite the journey. It's sort of generation spanning. So you know, the puzzle is not there to kind of be an obstacle for you. The puzzle is it's there to entertain you while you peel away the veneer of that cool story.
Quite a few guys at Rogue Sun spent a long time at Lionhead. How would you say kind of working for that legendary developer has kind of helped your vision now? Like, what do you think you've brought forward from those Lionhead days?
Yeah, I think sometimes we don't have an option to not bring forward stuff from that kind of background. You know, which is great, right? We don't want to push that away. It is our legacy, and you know, for me personally, and many on the team, you know, we're so grateful for our time there. But I mean, you know, even beyond the sort of visual and kind of aesthetic aspects, for me, you know, the idea of Lionhead, which, you know, even 5 years, I think it was yesterday or the day before, was like 5 years before since the closure of the studio. But that idea lives on, I think, not just within me and other studio founders who, you know, who came from that studio. And I think the idea is to try different things and, you know, kind of take things in unexpected directions. And also, you know, that kind of Britishness, I guess, as well, which, you know, Tin Hearts being set in a sort of parallel Victorian era does have a lot of as well. So, yeah,
Dickensian lemmings.
Exactly, right. So, yeah, and yeah, like I say, we carry that dream and that idea, you know, Rogue Sun and other studios that came about from Lionhead, which is, you know, it's a big responsibility, but also, I think, a privilege to be able to do that.
Oh, Kostas, thank you so much for talking to us. I'm genuinely really, really excited to get my hands on the game. And yeah, can't wait to find out more.
Cool. Thank you for having me. And yeah, glad to see your reaction. And yeah, if everyone reacts this way, then all good.